Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another live interview here on TejanoKeyboard.com. I am that guy, Rolando Revilla Jr. And today's shirt, for those of you who get the reference, it's an awesome TV show. I'm not trying to make a political statement by any means. It's just a funny shirt. My wife got it for me this past weekend, and I said, you know what, I'll debut it on the show this week. Today's guest is Hugo Guerrero. Unfortunately, they're having some technical difficulties on their end, but he is getting situated. His media person, Lupe, is setting him up. They had an issue with one of the screens, and so that's going to delay them a few minutes. But I'll get back to you guys once he's ready to be connected. Maybe I can send a few shout outs if anybody's chatting in there. Let me check real quick. Want to send a shout out to Chris Rodriguez. His birthday is today. Also, Mark Ledesma celebrating his birthday too. Two guys that have already been on the show. John Ortiz says, "Good evening, Rolando and Hugo." Well, Hugo will be on the air with us in just a little bit. The music maker, nice shirt. Thanks. You know what? We could talk about the shirt for a little bit until those guys get ready to be on the air. So, if you guys are familiar with the show The Office, that's what this is from. The Office ended, I don't know, maybe almost a decade ago now. But that was Michael Scott's line, I guess, in the show all the time. That's what she said. And Dwight Schrute was his number two. Michael Scott, Dwight Schrute, 2020. The Office. I'm a big time Office fanatic. Bianca and I have binge watched The Office. I think we're on our 13th time watching it all the way through. It's a great show. Like, we'll watch other shows and stuff, and we'll get into them. And then when they're done, like, hey, let's start watching The Office again. And unfortunately, it's going to go away on Netflix soon. So we actually purchased the complete series. And I believe it's, I forgot how many seasons. 9. So we've watched quite a bit of Office in our day. I'm such a fan of it that I actually have actual Dunder Mifflin paper. If you guys, for those of you who are Office geeks, the Dunder Mifflin's the name of the company that they work at, paper company. Chris Strunk, be on the lookout. Chris Strunk will be on Tejano Keyboard next month. Music maker, good job on the medley with Ray Reina Carnal. Thank you very much. That was fun to do. So I'm just waiting to hear back from those guys. You know what? I'm gonna go get my Dunder Mifflin paper. I'm gonna show you guys, and I'm gonna wait until they get back on the air. So hold on one second. Okay, all right, okay, all right. Let's see here. Actual Dunder Mifflin paper. It says premium copy paper. It has a bunch of sayings from the show. Our motto is quality first. Get your Scranton, because they're in Scranton, Pennsylvania. Scranton. This is actually a gift to me from Michael Ibarra, which I don't know if he's watching right now, but that's what Who said. Let's see here. I can't say whether Dunder Mifflin paper is less flammable, but I can assure you that it is certainly not more flammable. Yeah, there's a bunch of little sayings. Where are the other ones? It's chock full of little what's the word I'm looking for? Easter eggs. There we go. As good as we have to be, we are dedicated to keeping our customers happy without going, completely overboard. So my Dunder Mifflin paper, my office shirt. You guys have seen my other office t-shirts that I've worn on here. Once again, those of you who are tuning in, Hugo will be on shortly. We're just waiting for him. There was an issue. His media guy, I guess they broke a screen. They can't see what they're clicking on, but they're trying to fix the situation as soon as possible. That way we can get Hugo on the air. When I talked to Hugo about doing this, he wanted to go above and beyond, so they have this whole setup with professional lighting and cameras and the whole bit. So I'm sure it's worth the wait. If you guys have any questions, I can answer questions in the meantime. Let's see here. Joe Cruz, if Hugo comes in late, what was that? If Hugo comes in late, you're going overtime tonight. Probably. We'll see. You never know with these conversations too. Also, there was something that his media guy was telling me, that there's like a limit to his camera, so the video might be intermittent as they get those things situated, but nonetheless it'll still be fun. What are you guys' favorite songs that Hugo's done? Not necessarily with Fandango, with his other projects that he's done. I mean, you could, even if it's a Fandango song, you guys let me know, and then we'll talk about him when he gets on the show. Also, we can talk about the schedule that's still yet to come for Tejano Keyboard live interviews. Don't forget, next week we have Mr. Mando San Roman from Sereno Band, and a lot of you guys know him also from being an honored personality at 102.1, Super Tejano 102.1 in the Rio Grande Valley. Chris Strunk, as we mentioned before, who is currently with Vicio. And also Roland Beatzilla X Gutierrez, who will be on the show later this month. We're still working on the last weekend to see who we're going to get on, and once that happens, then we'll put out the graphic, and then you guys know what the month of September is going to look like. Andy Diaz, I like your show. Thank you. Andy Diaz, watching from Lansing, Michigan. Diaz says, "What's up?" John Ortiz says, "What's up, Andy?" So they're having a little conversation there in the chat. I'm going to put this back into pre-game mode, and then once Hugo gets connected, we'll be on. Okay, hang tight. Okay, guys, we're still working on some audio details, but as you guys can see, Hugo is there, and once we get things situated, we'll get things going. Okay, so hang tight, and thank you for being patient and understanding. Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're here. We're live. Yay! We're all right. Again, right here we have Mr. Hugo Guerrero. Hugo, thank you so much for being taking time out of your day to be here with us. Thank you so much. I know we had some technical issues, pero como quiera, we're here. We're doing it, right? We're able to talk with a legend here on our show. Thank you very much for, like I said, for being part of this interview. I want to start off first of all by saying that I've been following Hugo Guerrero since the days of Fandango and Party Band and everything in between. And you know, my dad used to play the cassette that had Malacara on it like all the time, man. And
oh wow!
Me gustaba
Yeah, that was a long time ago, right?
Yeah, you know.
That's a lot. Pues, primeramente, Rolando, thank you for letting me be part of your show here. I've heard that a lot of the keyboard players that I know of, that I respect, have already been on your program, and to me, it's an honor. It's a privilege. Actually, it's a personal satisfaction to be part of your program, bro. And I guess, and first of all, before we even get started, before we even go anywhere, I want to thank Mr. Lupe Moya because he's been sweating. He's been sweating bullets in here, brother. I mean, we're trying to get this thing, and we're still a little bit on the. When it comes to computers, we're a little bit on Neanderthal. When it comes to this, we're still old-fashioned, right? And we're trying to do. Lupe's been trying to hook this up, and as far as the technical difficulties, that was part of it. And Lupe's, we're really working really hard. And Lupe Moya is here with me. Francis is here with me. And of course, the love of my life is like, what? Allá atrás, watching me.
La manager.
So, y también, Rolando, gracias. Y a todos los que nos están viendo, thank you for letting me be part of this program, brother.
y como dicen, ¿verdad? Aquí nosotros somos profesionales. The show goes on, right? So,
Well,
pero
you know
como,
how it is. You
yeah,
know how it is.
exactly. Y pues primeramente también queremos darle las gracias a la familia Guerrero for allowing us into their home and their studio. And again, Lupe Moya, thank you for all the help with the cameras and the lighting and all that good stuff. So how are things over there in regards to music? I know we kind of talked about this when we were on the phone, but right now coronavirus has got everybody kind of at a standstill. So you're doing like some production work, right? Remotely for some other people, is that right?
Well, desafortunadamente, this pandemic thing has hit everybody, especially everybody in the entertainment business. They've been hit pretty hard. And te estoy hablando de, you name it, from country to rock and roll to Tejano to even allá en México, mis hermanos allá en Monterrey, San Luis Potosí, que, músicos reconocidos que conozco, pues a todos les ha afectado. I mean, everybody has been affected severely
Mm-hmm.
by this thing, right? Because there's no places where we can go play. And just to, make it short, my whole year was canceled.
Mm-hmm.
And one, on the good side of all of this is that a lot of the músicos nowadays, they're doing this now.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of good music coming out because guess what we've been doing? We've been staying home doing this. And we've been taking a lo menos, and I'm talking from myself, but I'm sure there's a lot of músicos out there that can relate to this. We've been taking our time cooking some very, very serious stuff, and that's I guess para los músicos that would be like our mental therapy.
Sí, y sabes que como dicen que, you have to look at the bright side of everything, right? Because, you know, el hombre, como dicen, el hombre pone, Diosito dispone, right? Pero uh,
Right?
you have to also look at the positive of everything, like you said. Sometimes we get caught up, being on the road and gigging that we don't have time to really sit down and reflect on our music y tratar de sacar material nuevo,
Oh
stuff
well.
that, and
Well, there's been a lot of reflecting. Okay, needless to say,
yeah.
No, pero no, a lo menos como músicos que andamos en el ambiente de lo tejano, no lo da, no nos agüitamos. I mean, esto está histórico, es weird. We live in very, very interesting times, and I guess we just gotta make light of it. Yeah, aguantar la
Absolutely.
vara. I mean, sí está serio la cosa. I mean, because I've had friends of mine already that passed away because of this. Not only friends of mine, pero familia mía, una tía en Monterrey, also
Mm-hmm.
from this virus. And needless to say, aquí en Texas, pues ha pegado bien duro.
Mm-hmm.
And hay mucha gente que ha sido afectada por esto de la pandemic. Aside from all musicians being affected, en lo personal, muchos de los músicos también han sido afectados por esto.
Mm-hmm.
And it is serious. And for whatever it's worth, please wash your hands, and
Yeah,
observe your social distancing, wear a
absolutely.
mask and all
Wear a
that.
mask,
Hopefully,
absolutely.
hopefully after all of this blows over, we'll come out better on the other side. Y pues esas son mis esperanzas, que hopefully after all of this blows over, con todo este tiempo que hemos estado metidos en los estudios grabando, no, and I'm not talking not just about myself,
Mm-hmm.
pero de todos los músicos que están, busy, creating and coming up with new stuff and, taking your time now that you can. On the other side, all of this, when it blows over, hopefully, we'll be better than where we were at.
Sí, y la mera verdad es que, pues yo pienso que son las esperanzas de todos, que ya
Yeah.
cuando todo termine, que vamos a estar listos como una nueva etapa de nuestra música, porque lo que pasa es que a veces, we take things for granted, right?
Right.
And the bands are playing every weekend, and you go, "Oh, I'll catch them next time" or whatever. But here we are. Historically, this has never happened
Yeah.
before. Everybody from Bruno Mars to me, everybody in between, Nobody's
We're
gigging.
we're in the same level right now, bro.
Right,
We're all on the ground right
exactly.
now.
And when things go back to hopefully somewhat normal, ojalá que el público y la gente van a responder a la música y you know what I mean, and that they'll be accepting of the music, the new material.
Primeramente, ya, pues, primeramente Dios,
Primeramente Dios,
como te
sí.
digo, son mis esperanzas
Ujú.
de que después de que todo esto se pase, we'll come out better on the other side, better than what we were, and primeramente Dios, of course.
Ujú.
Todo de lo que se trata
Ujú.
es pues, nomás de aguantar un poquito la vara, just aguantar la vara aunque está difícil. I mean, it's hard for everybody because there's a lot of people who lost their jobs, lost their houses. It's a lot of losing out there.
Y en
And
realidad, us musicians, we've lost our livelihood too because some of us,
but
that's all that we
as a
do for
matter
a
of
living.
fact, I was telling my wife that not too long ago that for me, for a lot of years, the gig was always a way out, right? For whenever things were dire, and I needed a gig, here and there, was always a way out, right? Well, imagine all of that taken away all of a sudden. Cuando por años you were dependent on that, right? Y luego de repente te lo quitan, pues it feels, it could be stressing. I mean, even to the point of getting all depressed, because it's like como te digo, estamos viviendo en tiempos muy interesantes, and this is historic. And I never thought in my life I would get to see what's going on today.
But on the opposite side of that, I never thought that I'd be having an interview with one of my favorite keyboard players.
Oh wow!
So gracias again,
Well,
Hugo, for doing this. And so let me start asking you some questions a little bit about yourself and how you kind of got
órale.
started in the whole music thing. How did that all come to I know that you probably have a lengthy story, but if you want to kind of abbreviate how things happen to lead you where you kind of are right now.
Well, it all started because I wanted to be a cowboy. Nah, no es cierto, no te creas, no es cierto. It started the way it seemed. I know that was very random. I know. Yeah, when I was 6 years old, my dad me regaló un acordeón de piano, right? And because we used to have this neighbor, un señor allá grande de edad, que tocaba el acordeón. And I would go over there and bug him y levantar el acordeón y I would pick it up and I would try to, figure it out. So my dad me compró una de piano, right? So I started figuring it out. And I remember my first song was on the accordion, right? So I figured that out, right? And I got very good at playing on the white keys, okay? On all the white keys. I got really good at the white keys, right? And then una vez, when I was 13 years old, las maestras de la escuela, where I used to go in Laredo, Texas, pues I grew up in Laredo, Texas, right? On this side, pero no salía de aquel lado de Nuevo Laredo. But las maestras me dijeron que si podía tocar yo el órgano en un teacher's convention, right? And I had this organ, this Woolworth organ that had like a little rhythm box, and I would play it. And I would play, right? And I was going to be like the ambience. I was the jukebox.
The
I was the
background
jukebox.
music.
Nobody's paying attention, right?
Yeah.
So I went in there, and I remember I got paid $40, right? And I went, they pay you for this? It's like, wow. I did it because I liked it, right? And the idea of, performing in front of people and, showing your skills, and because de eso vive el músico, ¿verdad? Because we can practice, and we can practice, pero al final de cuentas, it's the high that you get when you play in
Con
front of a
otros
public.
músicos. Yeah.
Right? Yeah, you can't really show off everything you've learned till you show it off. Look what I learned, right? So when I got paid $40, I figured, so they pay you for this? And that's when I made up my mind. And this was when I was 13 years old. I made up my mind that I was going to try and make a living out of the music business, but not just be able to learn how to play the keyboards or accordion, but I want to learn everything that music had to offer. With figure out how the drums go, the bass, the guitar, the keyboards, the accordion, the congas, the timbales, how to set up a whole stage with screen TVs and smoke and lights, how to learn about marketing, learn about networking, about publishing, everything that the music industry, every venue that it has to offer, I wanted to learn it, right? And needless to say, I found out that you never really learn all of it. Okay, there's always something you don't know.
Yeah.
There's something you don't know. Puesto que talking about that subject, es importante que los músicos nowadays learn. Very important. They learn the business side of it. Okay, it's believe me, it's very very important. You at least understand the business side of it. It's not just learning chords and learning theory and learning how to play with a band. No, you need to really learn about the business because it is a hard business and there's a lot of risk involved. And aside from risk, there's a lot of sacrifice that have. Yeah, and you understand. You know what I'm talking. You're a keyboard player yourself. John, I'm sure you understand what I'm talking.
Yeah, contracts and all that stuff are very important too, because not only does it protect you, but it protects the client too, to make sure that both parties are, happy with the outcome of whatever. And not just from a perspective of like you providing a service for somebody else, but also when you go into business with other people and you guys are having to share that pie and make sure that everybody gets the appropriate amount of the pie, because if you don't read the fine print, you're gonna get the crumbs, and somebody can walk off with the pie. And so,
it's a tough world, man. It's a tough business, right? And aside from learning about the contracts, especially when it comes to like big venues, big concerts. Yes, everybody wants a piece of the pie. There's a lot of money to be involved. There's a lot of money involved, and everybody wants a little piece. Pero uno como artista va ahí nomás quiere que se te pague nomás lo que te pertenece, lo que se te debe nomás. Sí, de ahí para adelante, you could care less what everybody takes. Nomás que del acuerdo de que fuimos, de que yo dije que iba a venir a tocar por tanto. Si está por contrato y por depósito y estás protegido por todos lados, because sometimes even el contrato, sometimes not even that works, man. Because you can go into litigations, you can go to court. You're looking at 5-7 years of a process thing, of back and forth, and yeah, it's a tough world. But I mean, especially the music business.
Yep, absolutely. I want to take a quick second to read a couple of the shout outs that we have coming in.
Okay.
Let's see here. We had Andy Diaz says, I like Fandango's music, and he's from Lansing, Michigan. Bobby Castañeda says, saludos desde Califas. It says, let's see here. I believe it was Rudy Valenzuela says that he liked your contributions on the Art Tijerina La Misma. So,
oh really? Oh wow!
Yeah,
I'm glad. ¿Quién fue ese? ¿El de lo que dijo eso? Who was it?
Rudy Venezuela.
Rudy Venezuela. It's nice that they acknowledge los trabajos que he hecho con Art Tijerina. I'm very proud of that. There's a lot of songs in the whole CD in there that were fun to work with, con Art. I mean, I'm glad some people recognize that.
Yeah, you know what? In this show being like a lot of musicians, they will recognize a lot of that stuff too. Rudy also says he likes the rendition of Porea with Tony Guerrero too.
Oh wow, yeah. Man, you're making me feel very old, man. It's like, man, that was a long time ago. I think Abraham Lincoln was president.
También Tejano Live Radio. Tejano Live Radio says saludos desde San Luis Potosí, México. Muchísimas gracias por estar sintonizando aquí en YouTube.
Muy bonita gente allá en San Luis Potosí. La vez que yo fui para allá, para San Luis Potosí, a mí me trataron allá de lo mejor, de lo mejor. Gente muy alegre, gente muy bonita, muy cariñosa. Y, no, hombre, pues la cosa es que cuando voy para allá, pues no me quiero venir, hombre, me quiero quedar allá.
¿Verdad?
I want to stay over there, man.
Yep,
Saludos a
absolutely.
San Luis Potosí y, of course, a todos mis hermanos en Monterrey, Nuevo León.
Mando H says saludos desde New Brunswick, Texas.
Mando
Uh,
H.
you know,
Mando
you,
H.
Mando H.
New Braunfels, Texas.
New Braunfels, Texas. Saludos desde. You know what? You and I have kind of a similar story of how we started. I started on a piano accordion too. My dad had like a big, like a Lawrence Welk, whatever accordion, and I was too small to. And my dad didn't really play too much. I mean, he was kind of learning it, so I was kind of learning along with him. And like you said, just all on the white keys, and then from there, I started learning like, oh, este es el tono de sol, and they're like, oh, what's that? And you're like, oh, you have to hit this one black key, and all this stuff. But so that story really resonates with me. So let me ask you this: from the young kid that got paid $40 to play ambient background music for his teacher's convention to Fandango USA, how did that trajectory happen?
A ver. Run that by me again.
Okay. From when you were young and were playing the piano accordion, right?
Right.
How did that segue into eventually leading up to being part of Fandango USA?
Well, mira, todo empezó desde este tiempo, ¿verdad? Because yo tocaba en los clubs en Laredo, Texas. I used to play in the clubs, and from Crystal Palace, con Sergio Ruiz y Santa Cecilia, Chacho and the Maximilians at the Wood Nickel. And back then, before DJs were even a thought, right? The band, the house band, had to learn every song on the radio, right? So, and we played every night except for Mondays. And we had a regular crowd every night. There was a regular crowd, and usually on the weekends it would get really packed, especially when you were the band in Laredo, right? And you can, what I can remember is when every song that came out on the radio, you had to learn it like really quick. I remember that her name is Lola. I had to learn all of that, right? This before DJs were, the band had to learn every song. And so I ended up learning a lot of things in there. But I was a big fan de Little Joe y la familia, right? I would listen to all the LPs de Los Únicos, de Los Chachos, Conjunto Bernal. Man, I used to get off to Conjunto Bernal. The vocals, the way they did the vocals, and the way he would play the accordion, he would do stuff that normal accordion players would do, right? Like he would play on the high notes, and he would do some weird stuff on the high notes. And so I have it, como lo tenga Dios, I ended up playing with Little Joe y con Johnny. Johnny se salió de Joe and made the third coast, right? And we were 3 keyboard players and 2 guitar players in the band, okay? And everybody in there was a heavy cat. I mean, everybody in the band individually knew how to play the drums, bass, guitar, keyboards, everything, right? So you were really not impressing anybody there. Okay, if you try to do something, it's like, show off, de volada, right? But ahí aprendí como if you want your solos to be really good, you have to learn harmony first, tonos, and I'm talking chords, my friend, and how to spread out your notes on a 4-part harmony, how it fits, right? And because with Johnny, we were trying to make it sound like a whole orchestra, but just with keyboards. So we had to assign los violines to a certain part, the brass to a certain part, and the other keyboard player, organs and, other stuff. And luego con las 2 guitarras, and believe me, the band sounded ahead of its time, right? And Te estoy hablando de 1984, 85. And so I was playing, and I learned a lot because the other keyboard player that I learned a lot from was mi compadre Julian Carrillo, which is everybody knows him for Latin Breed, the keyboard player for Latin Breed, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so he taught me a lot about a lot of that, right? Because it's based on a lot of. So if you go on your solos, following those chords, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it opened a can of worms for me, right? So cuando Johnny dejó de hacer lo que estaba haciendo, que quizás en Houston, California, sí, yo con Johnny aprendí bastante, ¿verdad? Y ahí Laura Canales y Encanto, they were splitting up, right? Laura was leaving, and el grupo se quedó puesto, and so that became Fandango, right? In other words, it was Encanto, pero without Laura. That was Fandango. I coming in from Johnny Hernandez at the Third Coast. That's when I walked in. We formed Fandango without the USA because we still hadn't added the USA to it, and I was still trying to incorporate what I had learned with Johnny Hernandez in the Third Coast, right? Which is a lot of the melodies, and I'm sure you'll recognize what I say with that when, por ejemplo, si tú estás de, my idea was to do it. So that was my idea, to incorporate a 4-part harmony to anything. So you recognize that. So everything was based on the 4-part harmony thing.
The other song. Yep. There you go.
You know what I
¿Quién
mean?
te dice? Yeah.
You're on the right place. Es así, mira. And then you go to the 7th.
Yeah, the B flat. Right.
Yeah, but after the B flat, you do the G minor with the 7th.
Yep.
So based on that, because of what I had learned with Johnny Hernandez on the Third Coast about the 4-part harmony on Fandango, basically that's what we were trying to do. I was trying to stay away from the one note thing, right? I was trying to do because when I learned, por ejemplo, what influenced me a lot were the chords. Mira, this chords was what influenced me. Mira. So that from there it was on, right? I wanted to learn everything about harmony, about how to invert your chords, right? Mm-hmm. And you can get pretty creative with that. I mean, you'll never finish, right? You're always going to find some other way to express yourself.
Well, even right there in Las Nubes, that chromatic leading tone in the strings, da 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 da, where it goes, what's it? You're in G, right? Yeah, it's like that string.
You're going through the 8, 13, but you this el chart. and then you make it minor,
Mm-hmm.
and then go to the diminished.
Yep.
So I mean, from there, I started to almost use it on everything I was trying to do. So if it was something like something very simple like volver, volver, I would always try to, you know, I was always trying to add, you know, something because una de las cosas de la música tejana es que you can express yourself using all the influences that you have because como músicos tejanos, there's a lot of influences involved, right? From mariachi to rock and roll to Cajun music to country. And one of my influences was jazz, right? I used to, you know, because being a keyboard player, I wanted to learn all the jazz parts, right? So with that in mind, I was trying to incorporate how to follow la melodía de la voz, de donde va la voz, and do with chords. Follow that melodía with the chords. So there's different ways of expressing yourself. I mean, no te la vas a acabar. And everybody expresses themselves according to the influences that you had, right?
Absolutely.
If you had influences from Latin, como a mí me gusta mucho Latin Breed, with Jimmy Edwards, Los Únicos, back in the Conjunto Bernal. So those were my influences. So I still, you know, I hear a song and my mind goes, how would Conjunto Bernal would have done this? Or how would Latin Breed do this? And my mind always goes still there, right? And no te la vas a acabar. La música no es infinite. No, there's so many ways of expressing yourself. Pero con Fandango, de ahí nació lo que, how Charanga ended up hitting, I don't know, bro. I don't know. That one was straight out from left field.
Yeah,
I mean,
and you know what? Like, here's the thing. Like, charanga is like earth shattering, right? In the sense that even people who are not Hispanic, they're like, oh, I've heard that song before. You know what I mean? But
mira, let me tell you, we had 9 songs. We needed a 10 song, and I really didn't want to record that song. I had been singing. You gotta understand this. I've been singing that song since, you know, since the clubs in Laredo. Every band has a song that has a Levanta Muerto song, right? Like when you're playing in la noche, right? And the people are not responding, they're not dancing to you. You always have a song that por una mujer casada, and then everybody responds. Charanga was one of them songs, okay? It was a Levanta Muerto song. I really didn't like, I didn't think much of the song, really. And mi compadre Valde, he was the one that, ¿por qué no grabas esa canción? Hombre, grabas, no, I'm not going to record that. We have so many other songs that are nice. Why that one? I always thought, you know, that was really, you know, it was, you know, I didn't like the song, right? And I'm being honest, okay? But when we recorded it and then it was released overnight, and I'm talking literally overnight, things changed. I mean, all of a sudden the phone was ringing off the wall. We were traveling a lot more, you know, by flying, and we were doing 12 o'clock en El Paso, a las 6 de la tarde en Mercedes, Texas, y luego a las 10 de la noche in Houston. Okay, that's just one day. So that's the way it was, and it got más grande que lo tejano because all of a sudden we were playing in the international market, right? Yep. We started traveling places that was no longer tejano. We were opening up for bands for like Los Tigres del Norte, Banda El Recodo in California, San Jose, San Diego, Sacramento, Los Angeles, allá en Fresno, Bakersfield. I remember all of that because we used to play all of those places over there. Con Banda El Recodo, and there was a bunch of other bands. I can't remember all of them, but there was a lot of traveling involved. I was never home. I was gone for months, and from the road back to the studio, and then to the road back to the studio, and that's the way it was. Yes, there was a lot of money, but like I said, you sacrifice a lot of things, right? One of the things you sacrifice is being at home. You're not at home. te la vas a pasar la mayoría del tiempo en moteles, okay, en motels.
So let me ask you
So
this.
anyway,
Let me ask you this.
dime,
At that time, you guys were under Freddie Records, right?
right?
Do you feel that in a way that because of Charanga that the record label had an influence or kind of like was trying to nudge you into a direction where you're like, okay, you went from this progressive Tejano, ranchera band to trying
Right?
to replicate Charanga over and over again. Do you feel that that's kind of what happened, or was that an artistic thing that you guys decided that, hey, this is fun, this is what?
No, no, no. It was a, mira, it was a group decision thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right after Charanga, we released another CD que se llamaba Charanga Kings, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it also did pretty good. And basically, the whole CD is a lot of songs that we just did in the rhythm of Charanga, basically. I mean, there's a lot of songs in there. But it didn't do as good as Charanga because up until now, when my wife puts out the merchandise, they still go and ask, pues, which one, ¿cuál tiene Charanga? They still ask for the song, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's so much for those other songs you recorded, right? They still asking for that one. And so, para empezar, it was a surprise to all of us, right? Mm-hmm. And that includes even the record label. That was a big surprise. We really didn't think the song. And I wanna go as far as to say we weren't even ready for it. I mean, not even the label, not even us. It was some complete left field thing that got surprised everybody, right?
Yeah, it won Song of the Year at the Tejano Music Awards, right? Didn't it win the Song of the Year at the Tejano Music Awards that year or something?
It won several awards. I remember it was not just one; it was several awards. It was a year where we almost took all the awards, and that was I want to say 94, 95, and we performed also several times there at the Alamo Dome in San Antonio, Texas, and it took several awards, and hasta la fecha, even up to now in the year 2020, I still go to the store and people go, "Hey, Charanga!" It's like, really? Come on, man.
Yeah.
But I still, up until now, I still have to sing the song everywhere I go. Yeah. I could sing all the other songs that I think are pretty. No, they want to hear Charanga. Play Charanga. Yeah. So I still, I still play it. But I'm still trying to, now that I've been at home a lot, mm-hmm. I've been creating some stuff, man. Wait till you hear it. So there's a new song coming out. Be on the lookout for it. Se llama Vestido Azul, and it was written by Beto Ramon. So you'll be one of the first to get it.
Yeah, Beto Ramon's a fantastic songwriter. Of course, many of you guys know he's written a lot of hits for Mas and La Mafia, and of course for
Pulido, Jay Perez, even Ramon Ayala has recorded his songs.
Yep. And
well, needless to say, he's from Laredo, so we grew up together, so we know each other.
Yep. And so, when did they? What? Well, let me rewind here for a little bit, because prior to La Charanga, there was the era of party band, right?
Right.
And to me, those were some of my favorite albums right there. All the songs are kind of like they kind of get intertwined because the production sounds pretty similar, and of course the voice of the accordion and the keyboards. That sometimes I forget, it was like, was that a Fandango song or was that a party band song? But of course, Malacara. There was Tengo que olvidar su amor. Da, 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 da. Was that party band or was that Fandango?
¿Cuál es esa Malacara?
Malacara, but I was talking about Aunque mal paguen ellas.
That was party band.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
That was party band, pero ahí you're talking about.
Yep.
tengo que olvidar su amor. Aquí me
Yep.
causa un gran dolor. Su cariño me hace daño. Yeah,
Okay,
the
listen,
thing is,
guys.
on
I don't know if you
that
guys can see that on the camera, but I've got goosebumps right there. I don't know if you guys can see that. Oh man, that's taking me back, man.
A ver,
I
esa
love.
canción, lo que hizo es que Freddie Martínez cantó conmigo esa
Yep.
canción. Of course,
Ay,
yo
ay,
siempre voy a estar muy
ay.
agradecido. No, I'm always, yo siempre voy a estar muy agradecido con Freddie Martinez, right? Con Freddie
Absolutely.
Martinez Sr. I'll always be very grateful to him for all the faith he had back in the day with Party Band, and then after Party Band, well, I ended up back again with Fandango. We decided to do a reunion, and actually we played in una quinceañera together, and we said, well, why don't we just get back together again? Well, yeah, let's do it. So, and then we recorded Charanga. So actually, the very first album we recorded after Party Band was on the Sensacional, the one where tiene,
Tres
¿cómo se llama?
besitos and
No, it's got this song, mira. Remember that?
yeah, bachata rosa.
See, that was in Sensacional. And after that, that's when we recorded Charanga.
Yeah.
On the second attempt with Fandango. And
Yeah.
of course, after Charanga, the rest is history because all of a sudden we were like all over the place. It's overnight things just changed, right? And hasta la fecha, I'm still having to deal with Charanga.
We have a question here from the music maker. It says, Hugo, how was it to work with Jesse Serrata?
Jeez, well, needless to say, I still miss the guy. No me lo vas a creer. I still have his phone on my phone. Okay, I still. We had a lot of great times together because back in the day I used to also play, and this is before Party Band. No, after Party Band actually. After Party Band, me metí con Jesse Serrata in the New Wave. Y ahí andaba Frankie Caballero, Snowball, and of course Jesse Serrata, and Mario Chivas on the drums.
Yep.
And that was, a learning experience because that band, New Wave, because andaba Frankie, andaba Snowball, andaba Jesse, andaba myself, that band itself was like several bands in one, right? Because I would play my songs and Frankie would play la de... So he would play all of that, right?
Yeah.
And then I would play, of course, I would play So anyway, that's in the New Wave. We were several bands because we would play las canciones de Jesse and la de. So we would play all those songs, right?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Dime.
We have a question from Joe Cruz that says, do you sell CDs, especially the album Tearing It Up? He says he can't find it.
Yeah. That one's going to be a very hard album to find. And the reason for that is because that was the last album I did. And by the time that album, that Tearing It Up, came out, I was already out of Fandango. I already was somewhere else. Mm-hmm. But then that was the last album. And that was a very good album, to be honest with you. That was a very, very good album. But by the time it was released, I had already, gone separate ways. And I want to say it's going to be kind of hard to find that one, that Breaking It Up. That one's got some nice songs. I've seen it. A friend of mine has it. But I can't even remember who has it.
Let,
But anyway.
we have a few more questions here. It says, or some comments too. Bobby Castañeda says, one of my favorite songs is El Farolero. Uh,
Farolero, yeah. Actually, that was one of my favorite songs too, man. I used to like that song. And to my surprise, there's a lot of people that still like that song. And I think it's going to be in the new CD. I'm going to include it in the new CD. But I'm gonna redo a 2020 remake out of it.
There you go. Con máscara y todo. No, I'm
Con
just
todo y
kidding.
máscara, con todo el virus y sin virus y con todo el jale.
También we have here, let's see here. Yeah. Oh, I'm going back here. They're talking about La Charanga, and people are saying good stuff. Let's see. Hugo, you are from Laredo. If you are, do you know a singer named Picos? He is my brother, or
Because
his brother Richard, guitar player. Don't know the last name. Used to play with La Palomilla
polvo.
from Dallas.
Okay, Picos was, man, a guy that could sing. That guy could sing. But see, I met Picos when he used to play with Polvo. There used to be a rock band, and that Charlie Castillo on the drums. But and that was a rock, one of the high class rock bands de Laredo. Their name was Polvo. Picos was the lead singer there, and I remember the first time I went to go see Picos sing. I mean, I was scared by the way he sings. Man, that guy sent me home to practice. I went home to practice because he is. I mean, I haven't seen him. I don't know where he's at. But last I heard, he was in San Antonio. And I don't know his last name. Everybody knew him as Picos. But I remember Picos, one of the best vocalists I've known de Laredo, Texas.
Joe Cruz says, I'm also looking for the CD. Tearing it. Oh, okay. I was just repeating that. He said he just saw it on eBay. The Tearing It Up CD. It was for, get ready, $100.
Yeah, because you're not going to find it.
Yeah, because
You're not going to find it. But, aside from not being able to find it, it's no longer in circulation.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a whole different ball game I don't want to get into, okay?
No,
But it's no
good.
longer in circulation. Uh, so you're going to have a hard time, and whoever has one, they're probably going to ask for a lot for it because it's no longer in circulation. And that CD, especialmente el de Turn It Up, that's going to be hard to find. I mean, I don't even have it. And I recorded it.
Yeah, así pasa a veces, you know what I mean? Just from so many years, you know what I mean? That like you never realize that you're making history, right? And then this was, you're like, man, I really wish I would have held on to, some of that, something tangible to say, hey, look at, I still,
No,
but
mira, ¿cómo se llama? Vinyl records
mhm.
that I've recorded. I only have two of them, and I've recorded a bunch of them, and I only have two of them that I was able to. Actually, me los trajeron. I was playing in Houston, Texas, at the amphitheater, and there used to be a distributor in Houston, Texas, and the distributor, they go, "Do you want this?" They go, "Yes, I want those." I mean, because it's vinyl, like you said. Now, at the time, you don't think about it, but yeah, to me, it's like historic already. It's like, wow, a relic, a relic.
uh, Jesse Alvarez says, question, what key does Hugo prefer to sing?
Oh, wow. That's a good question. Pues no salgo de la. I like la a lot. I have a lot of songs that are in there. No tengo duda que tú serás mejor para mí. That's in A. There's si no es E, probably E. Yo sería parolero si tú te hicieras parola. que me espera por las noches, encendida pero sola. See, but he goes too loud there. So I'm either around E, A. I have songs in G, rarely, but I do have songs in G, and I have a lot of songs that are in C. I have another song that yo sé que tu castigo es verme, que te mueres de rabia. That's A flat. Would you believe that?
Yeah. Yerba Mala, right?
Yeah. So,
Man, that's
yeah.
again. Look at it right here. Let's see the overhead cam.
The song was in A flat, right?
Yeah.
But see, the bridge, we decided to go to
B flat, right?
To E flat. Yo de la gota, gota, la tengo. No, you're right, B flat. You're right, B flat. You're right. You're right, B flat. No me grites, vato, está bueno.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Yeah, people are saying Teresa Martinez says great song. The music maker says Hugo, Bert Zuniga from Amarillo has all of your records, carnal. So
Oh, really?
you have to hit up Bert Zuniga.
Dile que me los dé todos para acá, hombre. I don't have none of them.
Que me los mande por email, ¿verdad? Más que
Algo,
sea.
anything.
Yeah.
I have to sometimes go look at my own stuff on YouTube because, like I said, I don't have them with me.
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of new songs aside from producing other artists because lately, como puedes ver, I've been dedicating myself into production a lot, and from Ruben Ramos to Artie Gerina to Ray, Lidia Castillo, Nikki Lopez to who else? Marisela from the Valley, from McAllen, one of the new artists. And as a matter of fact, I recommend you go see that video, the Marisela. It's ¿cómo se llama la primera? Me está gustando. And I'm very proud of that song, bro. Me está gustando by Marisela. So aside, from being in production, I have a lot of new stuff, right? Because I'm not only into Tejano, I'm also into hip hop. I'm also into mariachi, into gospel. And lately I've been doing a lot of gospel. I've been producing somebody que se llama, she's from Brownsville, Texas. Her name is Andrea Esther. And she's more like acoustic rock thing. Because aside from playing the keyboards, lately, como I haven't been playing, I've been playing the guitar a lot. And I'm actually enjoying the guitar, right? And I literally sleep with the guitar. And my wife knows, she knows, she's just watching on. I literally, if there's a guitar next to me, I wake up and that's the first thing I do. I pick it up and I've been enjoying playing the guitar. And esto es gospel for Andrea, it's acoustic and rock y en español, and it's gospel. Pues it's like freedom. Te puedes expresar. There's no limits to what you can do, right? Y no te detienes. It's not holding you back. You're really letting it out, right? Mm-hmm. And aside from Tejano, which I'm hardcore Tejano to start off with, right? Mm-hmm. And pero fíjate, before I go any further, let me clarify one thing. You said I'm from Laredo, right? I grew up in Laredo, but I was born in Monterrey, bro. Yo soy de Monterrey, Nuevo León. I was born over there. Awesome. Okay. Mi familia están establecidas en la colonia Independencia en Monterrey. También tengo familia en San Nicolás de los Garza. Okay. So tengo bastante familia en Monterrey. And aside from, but I did grow up in Laredo. I did grow up in Laredo, and a los 8 meses me miraron para acá, para este lado. And so you could say I'm from this side, okay?
We have some more comments right here. Gerano, I believe Gerano Medina,
Claro.
Genaro Medina.
Okay.
Saludos Rolando y Hugo from New Braunfels. Awesome interview. One of my favorite songs Hugo covered was Dicen que los ojos negros. Love your version of
Ah,
it.
wow.
Uh,
I remember that. That goes into that 4-part harmony I was trying to tell you earlier. That
yep.
You remember that song, no?
Yep, absolutely. I see that you're playing a Triton Studio there. Is that what it is? A Triton Studio?
Yeah, but see, I rarely use the programs in here anymore.
Mm.
I use the virtual ones because there's tons of things on the internet nowadays. So the only thing I use from here would be like the violines because I still like the strings on this.
Mm.
But I use the virtual instruments that Pro Tools offers, and believe me, there's tons. Y no te la acabas. There's programs in there para entrar para arriba. If you use your expand and your your virtual, I have toda la colección of the M1 Korg. I don't know if you remember the M1 Korg. I have a whole collection of the workstation. So it's a combination of using some of from here and some over there. Because there's from Reason, there's another program que se llama Reason.
Yep.
It also got all the motif programs from the motif, the Yamaha motif. So it's got all the pianos in there. As far as pianos, but you should know, man. Nowadays, it's incredible what you can do nowadays using computers, right? Thank God for autotune, my friend.
¿Verdad? And quantizing, ¿verdad? Because sometimes.
Oh, yeah, no. Well, the thing is, when I quantize, I le pico at random because I still like the imperfections.
Right.
I don't like it too perfect. I got tired of doing sequences on the keyboard. Nowadays I look for the offset of the grid. The bass drum's not all the time there, and the bass sometimes they're flamming on microseconds. So that gives it the human element. And nowadays, I look more for the mistakes, the human element. A little bit of my friend.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I agree with you because
it's called mojo. Mojo, a little bit of mojo in there.
There you go. Yeah, and you're using Pro Tools. You said. What about your gear on the road? Obviously, or I don't know. Do you take Pro Tools and stuff on a laptop on the road, or do you?
No. I use a Trident, but I use an Extreme. That's another Trident. I'm sure you're familiar. The Extremist Negro is a black one.
Yeah, and it's got the tube, right?
Right. This was the Trident Studio.
Yep.
El gear on the road is an Extreme. Yeah, that one's got the tubes. You can warm up the sound with the tubes a little bit. It kind of warms up the sound. You turn on the thing and the tube turns on. I'm sure you're familiar with that keyboard.
Absolutely. I think that was the last flagship model of the Triton series that Korg released before they discontinued the line. But yeah, I think the one thing that made that keyboard stand out above all the other ones, because I had the Triton Studio too, but I had the 76 key. But the Extreme had all the cards, all the extra RAM, all the sounds that Korg offered all under one roof. So that's why they called it Extreme. Right. And then they gave it that blue.
What I liked about it is that you could warm up the sound, and it would give it a little bit. I don't know, and I'm sure you being a keyboard player, you understand what I'm trying to say. When you add a little bit of saturation, it kind of makes the sound a little bit more.
You're getting more partials, more harmonics. Third and second and third order harmonics that kind of fatten up the sound. The same way that you would use distortion on a guitar to make it sound fuller. But I mean, obviously not all the way clipping. But yeah, that.
No. Well, distortion was found by mistake. You know that. But nowadays, you can even also add it. You can also add it. Even to the vocals, just a little bit on a separate channel, not on the main vocal. If you sing your vocals, it's an auxiliary, and on the auxiliary you kind of put this, distortion, even a little bit of saturation, and then bring it up and blend it in with the other voice. See, that distortion adds, I don't know, it adds, like you said, it's like subharmonics, or it raises the tonality of the whole thing into different. It just sounds, I don't know, I can't, it's kind of hard to explain it with words.
Yeah, it
But
just blends. It makes things blend a little bit more because there's more harmonic content that it makes it feel more cohesive.
it's called you glue it, glue it
glues
together.
Yeah, there you go. Eso. Let's see here. We got some more. Manny C says, Hugo, awesome jamming with you on keys back in the day from Grupo Impacto. Keep up the good music. Jesse Alvarez says, what has been the best venue Hugo has performed at in his opinion? A concert, perhaps?
Well, the best venue. Well, meeting President Clinton. I guess that would be it. I played once for the Mexican American Democrats, something called MAD in Houston, Texas, at the Saxophone Club, and it was a benefit for the politics when Clinton was running against Bob Dole, and I played at the Saxophone Club in Houston, Texas, and in there I met Lyle Lovett, Tommy Lee Jones. At that time, Ann Richards was the governor in Texas, and of course I took a picture with Clinton. So I guess that would be one of the highlights of my career.
That's
meeting Clinton.
Yeah.
And of course, I guess I playing in the cruise, playing in the cruises, the Carnival cruise. Literally out there in the middle of the boat, above, the stars above, under the stars at night. People dancing charanga in the boat, making a line, and it's just crazy, right?
Yeah.
And well, yeah. Thank you, my love, for my wife. I tell you, the word around here, the house is Alzheimer's. Alzheimer's. I'll go into the room and I go like, aquí vine, and my wife, Alzheimer's. So anyway, I played una vez with the San Antonio Symphony at the Majestic Theater in San Antonio, Texas, and I played, guess what song? Charanga with the San Antonio Symphony.
Wow.
And there was dancers on the side dancing, and the choreographer, the one that choreographed the dance, was Jesse Borrego, the actor. And I'm sure you're familiar with Jesse Borrego.
Yep.
Blood In, Blood Out. Okay, on the movie Blood In, Blood Out. He was the one that choreographed the dance, de los que estaban bailando. And of course, it was a 42-piece symphony. And as a matter of fact, I think I have the video somewhere there. But because of, ¿cómo se dice? Copyright infringement from me, I can't show it. But that was, as far as highlights, I would say that right there, being able to, mira, Diosito me ha bendecido con muchas cosas, okay, and me being able to do this and being able to travel, meet all kinds of people, good people, and believe me, I've met some beautiful people, good people, in Monterrey, in San Luis, Chicago, California, and Iowa, and Idaho, Florida, Kansas, Oklahoma, Colorado, New Mexico, especially New Mexico. There's a lot of very beautiful people that siempre me han tratado muy bien, ¿verdad? And siempre han aceptado. They've accepted my music. So Diosito me ha bendecido with being able to travel and doing things that are, hasta a veces yo me quedo asustado. It's like, really? It's pretty, it can be overwhelming, okay? So at times, it can be overwhelming.
Yeah, and but I've always been a believer and that my mom always used to use this phrase. She says, Dios aprieta, pero no horca. So he knows just enough what to give you, what you can handle.
Well,
Sometimes,
I know that one a little bit different.
yeah.
Dios ahorca, pero no mata.
Maybe
No
it's a
te
little more
mata, nomás que
intense.
ahorca, nomás que ahorca.
Yeah, and yeah, but yeah, along the same lines, you know what I mean. I believe that gives you what you can handle, and I think a lot of the reasons why you've been blessed to be able to do what you do is because I mean that comes from him, right? And I'm sorry to get all preachy. I'm sorry, guys. Whatever. There's a time and a place for that sort of stuff, and I understand. But obviously, we're having this conversation here with Hugo, and who's been a major influence on a lot of musicians, a lot of people. People that grew up
I don't want to be an influence to anybody. No, 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 no.
from a
No,
musical
well,
perspective.
mira, I appreciate your kind words. I appreciate, and I appreciate, y estoy bien agradecido. I am really grateful with everybody that has accepted my music, has accepted, my productions, and has accepted me personalmente. Estoy muy agradecido, right? Muy agradecido with everybody. And no me quedan palabras más que decir muy agradecido, muy agradecido, muy agradecido.
Thank you, thank you, thank
Pedro
you.
Vargas.
Yeah.
But on the same token, me da gusto that there's people like you, bro, that are promoting la música, especialmente keyboard players. I mean, I'm proud of you, bro. I'm glad you're doing this.
I
We need
appreciate
more
that.
people like you in this business.
Thank you. And I'm doing this because and I know I've kind of harped this story a few times on my show. But what I tell people is like there's no end to it just seems like the bloodline of the accordion and the bajo, like somebody in the family always has like, oh, I have a tío who plays accordion and he taught me, or I have my grandpa played bajo sexto, right? But nobody
Right?
nobody plays keyboards anymore. Nobody wants to show, nobody wants to, I don't know if it's just that they want to hoard the information or whatever, but that's what this channel is about. We need to teach each other about theory. We need to teach each other about harmony. We need to teach each other about sounds and sound design. Because ultimately, as a keyboard player, we cover everything, right? The rhythm, the
Right.
harmony, the melody, the everything. And
The violins, the brass, the leads, the pianos. So I mean, yeah, it could be. Well, see, the thing is, uh, there was a time where the keyboard was really predominant in the Tejano industry, and I want to say it was around what from 84, 85, all the way to the 90s, 98, 90. The almost everything you heard was keyboard based, and the accordion was really not,
was secondary.
it was secondary, right?
Mhm.
And I want to say this: this is all about circles. It's toda vuelta, right?
Mhm.
Because back in the 50s, the accordion and the bajo sexto was predominant. Back in the 50s, Narciso Martinez and
Valerio
Augusto Bernal,
Longoria. Yep.
Valerio Longoria, those were like the pioneers, and they were the ones that people would go see them. Rubén Vela and all of them. Tony La Rosa. Tony La Rosa. I mean, he was one of the first ones to record. As far back in the day.
Mhm.
But then you got in the 70s, and then it was orchestras dominant, and the accordion and the bajo sexto kind of, se quedó más para la gente que trabajaba en las labores, ustedes para allá. Las orquestas were for the tuxedo Tejanos, right?
Mhm.
The upper class Tejanos, right? So all of a sudden you had orchestras como Sonny Osuna, Freddie Martinez, Agustín Ramírez, and everybody had an orchestra. Hasta Josefa, very good orchestra también en un tiempo. Latin Breed, que no se diga.
Mhm.
And then entraron los keyboards, the horns kind of, was secondary, the keyboards were on, right? So now we're back to the accordion y bajo sexto, where it's dominant, right? Maybe even a saxophone in there. So al rato vienen para atrás los horns, al rato vienen para atrás los keyboards, es toda vuelta. That's what
We have a couple more questions, and then I know that we've been on the air for a little over an hour, and I appreciate your time, but we got a couple more questions.
I appreciate Lupe Moya over there. Lupe Moya has been putting up with me.
Hey, Lupe, thank you so much for all your help, and sorry about your
Francis
screen.
there también, they're putting up with me here, okay? Lupe Moya and Francis, they're like más que familia to me because we've been through a lot. We've traveled, we've seen things you cannot imagine, okay? But they're parte de mi familia, so mis respetos, Lupe Moya y Francis.
Yep, absolutely. I want to thank Lupe too for putting in all the extra work. Even though we kind of improvised here at the end, we still made it happen. The show goes on, right? So here's a few more questions.
Right.
Here's a few more questions. One of them was it was in regards. Oh, right here. Joe Cruz says, "Hugo, my favorite keyboard is the Nord Stage 2. Have you ever tried it?"
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I tried it at the Carnival Cruise when we went to Jamaica. They had one there on stage, and that's the first time I ever tried it. Although at first, I'll be honest, sí se me hizo un poquito complicado. I couldn't figure it out. But I liked what I liked about it was the feel of it. It had a real. It had the heavy keys, but they were really not that heavy. It just felt good, right? And aside from that, the quality of the sound, I mean, it's unbelievable. I like the Fender Rhodes on it. Fender Rhodes sounded really nice. So yeah, I really enjoyed that keyboard. That would be something that I wouldn't mind changing this one for that one.
Especially since you're just using it as a controller, basically, right?
Yeah, well, like I said, you understand that nowadays up there you have all kinds of pianos, all kinds of. See, nowadays you can sample stuff, right? You can sample, let's say, un guido. You can sample that, and then I have it here, and it'll be there all the time, right? Because it's been sampled. So with that in mind, like you can pretty much do that with everything. You can do that with your vocals. The computer will assign your vocals to every key accordingly. So if it's a C, it'll be your voice on the C, it'll assign. So it's incredible nowadays what you can do. So as a MIDI controller, no, te voy a decir que el Nord tiene unos programs, internal programs that are really nice, but I don't think I have somewhere near.
And I think we've already answered this question, but anyways, Bobby Castañeda is asking which DAW does Hugo use, and you had mentioned you're using Pro Tools, right?
I am a certified Pro Tools operator. I took I went to school for it, got my degree for Pro Tools. So I'm supposed to say Pro Tools is the best in the world.
Awesome. Yeah, and but hey, como dicen, right? Es el mono, right?
Es el mono. You're right. You do have a point there because I've seen guys with a 4-track recorder make a recording that's really, really impressive just for 4 tracks. So yeah, you're right. Es el mono, hermano. Es el mono.
Yep, because Pro Tools in your hands and Pro Tools in my hands are going to sound way different. John Ortiz says he had a Yamaha DX7. I don't know who he's talking about, but I know we had that conversation on the phone about the Yamaha DX7. But
the DX7 when it first back in 1984, 83, if I remember this correctly, when the DX7 came out, it just blew away any other keyboard. Let me put it to you this way: if you didn't have a DX7, you were nobody. You had to have a DX7, and it's like. It's weird now that you look back at it because it was, to start off with, it was really, really heavy. I mean, the keyboard was really heavy, and it didn't have a stereo output. It just had a mono output, and that was it. But that was the keyboard that, man, I recorded a lot. A lot of the songs, the Fandango USA, they're done on the DX7. Especially the very first ones. I used, with Fandango, I used an Oberheim. You remember the Oberheim?
Mm-hmm.
A Kurzweil and a DX7. That's what I had back in the day.
What was the charanga sound?
The Charanga sound.
Yeah.
That's just a regular brass. I mean, that's really doesn't take much to figure that one out. I mean, really, you can grab any cheesy keyboard and just, and just go in your brass and just go to your brass. Any brass. It could be any brass.
Do you remember?
I mean, it could be. Just grab any brass. It doesn't matter. It could be a Casio keyboard. Just grab the brass and. I always thought about making it in minor. I don't know. It would be fun.
Do you remember what keyboards you were using around that time, that era that you recorded those albums with? Because even like the Ay Amor, that was the first song on that album, had a really nice piano. I don't know what.
That's the DX7. That was the
DX7?
DX7. That was, I was doing a. So, but that was a DX7. I don't remember. Que te diga yo. I remember having a chord in a DX7 and a Fender Rhodes, but el chord, I don't remember qué chord era, but it wasn't the M1. That's before the M1. It was a double. It had a 00700 or Korg something. Basically, I used that chord just for the violines because I used to like the violines. But what I would do, I had the chord on the side and I had it MIDI into the DX7. So that way I could put the brass of the DX7 and the violines from the chord, and with my left hand I would play the piano, and I had a Kurzweil piano. So that's how I was playing all three keyboards at the same time by using the MIDI. I would go brass, strings, brass, piano, and I was playing all three of them. That's what I remember de lo de Fandango. Of course, in el proceso de Fandango, I had a lot of keyboards. It's kind of hard for me to remember. It's like I was changing keyboards, constantly. Not only because the roadies a veces lo quebraban, but a veces I just trying to keep up, with the sounds. Me acuerdo cuando salió el Roland, el D50. I know Tony Guerrero de La Sombra. He did a lot of recordings on the D50 also. I mean, el Roland, you remember that keyboard, right?
Mm-hmm.
Soy el único que te ama. All of that's the D50, the Roland D50.
Mm-hmm.
And but I basically did stick around with the chord a lot, and it took me a while to get rid of the DX7 because I really, in un tiempo, I really got to know the DX7 inside and out. I figured out how to, using the algorithms, how to create my own program. I mean, from scratch. And it was a little bit complicated, pero sí, me encariñé con el keyboard, and it took me a while to kind of wean me out of it,
Roy Maya says Korg DW8000.
That's it.
Yep.
That's it right there.
That's it.
That's it. That was the wow. Man, that just brought memories of the Gomez Palladium in Dallas. I don't know why. But yeah, that was the keyboard. That was the chord. That was the chord I used to have in my right hand, and I had it MIDI into the DX7, and then I would play with my left hand the piano. So that way I had strings, brass, and piano going on at the same time. Pero también I also had the accordion on, so I would play the accordion whenever I would let go of the hands and I would sing. So yeah, I was pretty busy back then.
Yeah. And yeah, especially like on songs like La Que Sea, you'd start off playing the accordion and then you start going to keyboards and then, trying to get that all to...
With Fandango, I had to be careful about how I did that because I had to figure out how was I going to do that live, right?
Yep.
And uh, desafortunadamente no puedes tocar el acordeón y los keyboards at the same time. Either you play the accordion or you play the keyboards, right?
Mm-hmm.
I had even thought about surgically add an arm on my forehead, right? So that way I could play the keyboard and the accordion at the same time, right? But I don't know if that would be possible. That's an ugly mental picture, though. But later on, well, con Party Band, I did what I wanted to do because I always wanted to do keyboards and accordion at the same time. Mm-hmm. So with Party Band entró Flaco, Briones, and acordeon. And so we were doing a lot of the leads together, accordion and keyboards, the brass and accordion. And I used to like the combination of the violines, the violins, with the accordion because they both have chorus. So it sounded, I don't know, big in my mind. It sounded. Yeah. I used to like that combination.
I think this will be the last question for the night right here. Okay. Although we kind of already did talk about it. The Sexy Groove wants me to ask. It says, ask Hugo Guerrero about the song Malacara.
Malacara was written by Oscar Martinez. Okay, the guy that wrote "En tu casa no me quieren por borracho, porque dicen que me gusta vacilar." Same guy that wrote that song wrote "Si te dicen que te vieron." Da, 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 da. It's the same guy, right? Mm-hmm. And that song was recorded by Oscar Martinez and his orchestra back in the 70s. And they had this thing that they did on stage where the horns would move because they would start off with a rock and roll beat. Dun, 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 dun. The horns were waving the horns, and then they would go to da, 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 they would go into Tejano, right? Mm-hmm. So that was how Oscar Martinez was known. Pero a mí me la trajeron through Freddie Martinez. They brought that song, and actually it was a suggestion that Freddie Martinez Sr. had done about recording Malacara.
Well, there.
And I hope that answers the question.
Yep, and man, Hugo, it's been awesome. It's been fun. One of my favorite interviews that I've done. We got to talk about a lot of stuff. A little bit of theory, a little bit of keyboard setups and approaches to playing. This was a very, although we started really late, we started like 30 minutes late. We still got a lot of information in the time that we got. And pero como quiera, I want to thank Lupe Moya for all his hard work and for letting us use his gear there, and for setting it up. And your family.
In case you don't know who Lupe Moya is, go to YouTube and go look up his channel. You're gonna see videos from Little Joe, the most recent videos of Little Joe, from Art Tijerina to yours truly, through I mean, you name it. They're there. So if you are interested in seeing some videos professionally made, go to Lupe Moya's channel on YouTube. You'll see what I'm talking about.
And for those of you who just kind of missed part of the interview or whatever, again, a reminder that this is going to be it's going to be on YouTube, so you guys can watch it forever and ever until the internet goes away. I want to remind you guys, next week we have...
you're expecting that one?
Oh, who knows? Look at the times we're living on right now, right? Next week we have...
don't get me started on that, bro.
Next week we have Mando San Roman from Sereno. He'll be here with us for the live interview, and then we'll be releasing the September schedule soon. Chris Strunk, we mentioned him. He'll be on from Grupo Vicio. Also, Roland Gutierrez, another great keyboardist. So we're going to have a bunch of people on this coming month. Thank you to all the people who have subscribed and who keeps watching the channel. Thank you so much. If you guys are interested in donating to the channel, be sure to go to TejanoKeyboard.com, where you can watch all these videos too. If anybody's interested in lessons or want to discuss theory or anything like that, be sure to reach out to me. We're here to teach each other, to help boost up, nuestra onda, nuestra música. Y pues de nuevo, muy agradecido que Hugo, was able to make some time out of his day to be here with us. Thank you, Hugo. If you want to stand by for a second, I'm going to sign off, and I'll see you guys next week. Hasta la próxima.
Okay. Hasta la próxima. Thank you, Rolando. Thank you very much for inviting me to your program, man.